I'm improvising, and I might be funny. I've never been called a comedian before. I'm so excited. Hi, everybody. It's the end almost. All right, here we go. I have a little monitor there. It tells me what time it is. And I've already used up 18 minutes now. Okay, there we go. Go. It's been a lot. I've been here all day. I've been sitting here all day. It's the TEDx. It's not TED, it's TEDx. It's not quite TED, it's XX, TED. It's SFX, XSF. Org dot. I've been sitting here all day. It's been terribly interesting. I think I just can't remember anything anyone said. However, it's been very important. I've taken notes. I can go online and look at the video to refresh myself. Except there's so many other TED Talks. I won't be able to decide whether or not to revisit the orgasm instructions or to move on to something new. Okay, what happened? I'm trying to remember. There were the Darwin Awards. There were the Darwin Awards for people who voluntarily executed themselves from the gene pool and therefore did not continue to expose their ridiculously idiotic genes to the rest of the thrust of continuing humanity, which is leading itself to the verge of extinction. And then there was, it's okay to age. It is okay. It is fine to move from childhood to adolescence to adulthood. And that you can go from adulthood to like being decrepit and old and deaf and hard of hearing and incontinent. And that is fine. And you can still be 87 and still, in fact, I am 87. And it doesn't matter anyway, because by the time I get to be 110, I will have, what was it that they said? No, some of you, I'm a boomer, I'm not a millennial. The millennial are the best. The X are still like passé. The millennial are the good ones, the hip ones, the attractive ones. They have much better hairdos than the millennials. The boomers have the worst hairdos of all. Everyone is dressing up to be like the stars they admire. Children are sleeping in bedrooms, sort of, most of them not. By the time I'm 120, I will have replaceable parts. So I do not need to worry about aging and accepting the decrepitness of aging, because by then I will not be decrepit. I will rage into the dying of the light. I will not die. I'll live forever. And if I have a good enough orgasm, I will change the world. And luckily, her book will be in the gift bag. If I can just stay here long enough to get to the gift bag part. I am still at TEDx. It is almost over. I am becoming the person I always wanted to be. It is not too late. It is not too late to have the world's best orgasm. But I can't remember if it's because I touched the 1 o'clock point and the... I have to wake up a half hour earlier tomorrow. I have to throw off the sheets and step out into the world. I will be so exhausted. But it doesn't matter because I will be refreshed. I will be fully refreshed by having had an orgasm in the night and baby and by shifting in a alchemical transformative way the me, like turn it on its side, flip it over, do it upside down, and we will become a we. And I will devote myself to the well-being of all beings everywhere, and at the same time decide what I mostly want in the world and get it because I can have it. And at the same time, I will not age, but I will age. I will be selfish and have what I've always wanted: passionate sex, eternal love, eternal life, and lots of money, and a car that actually works, and a house that's spacious enough but not too big, that doesn't leave a carbon footprint anywhere. I will never fly, but I will travel everywhere. Maximum living. I will be so maximumed. That I will begin to crave in that woman hunger way. From the deepest part of my change the world being. Minimum living. I will begin to crave completely minimal living. It's already setting in. I was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer about 12 years ago. And I do what people do these days. You kind of run from the acupuncturist to the homeopath, to the doctor, to the hospital, back to the mammogram machine. Oh, blood! And then you go to Europe for alternative treatment after having a fundraiser. I'm not allowed to use that word on this stage. It says that in the TED bylaws. Do not talk about yourself. Dedicate yourself to the world of changing beings. Introduce yourself to the partner sitting next to you you've never seen before, but you can talk to them now about having orgasms because you're at TED. I went to the Lion Gate Clinic in Tunbridge Wells, which was called the Lion Gate Clinic because it had 2 big stone lions lining the stone pathway to the old house. The doctor sat behind a big table, and he had brown hair and spectacles. And he leaned over and asked me everything about my life. I was sitting in a big, tall chair, and he was taking notes and recording me. And he said, "What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? What time do you get up in the morning? When do you go to sleep? Have you ever been depressed? Have you had lovers? What do you do for a career? What do you like to wear? Is your closet neat? Do you make your bed in the morning? What kind of car do you drive? Is your father alive? Is your mother alive? What's your name? What's your middle name? What's your name that you named yourself in high school?" And that concentrated attention on one spot, the me spot, was somehow oddly reassuring, and I felt the color which had faded from my cheeks rise again. And then he led me into the back room where classical music was playing, as opposed to the flat screens they now have when you go to get your blood taken, and they're playing like Die Hard on the television. There are flat screens everywhere now, in the doctor's offices, on the ferries that go across channels, in the bloodletting place. In the vet, they're flat screen till you're there with your dog who's going, and you know you're about to spend $10,000 on the survival of your pet. And they're playing How to Improve Your Living Room. I've gone off on a tangent. Don't do that again. I was in Tunbridge Wells. I was led to the back room where I was given Venus flytrap in a vein. It was kind of bright yellow, and I sat there for several hours with my feet up on the peach furniture. It was like lawn furniture that was covered with peach towels. As the infusions went through my body, and then a bit of ozone and oxygen and vitamin C, and then I'd go back to my room, and then I had to smuggle the Venus flytrap into the United States because it wasn't allowed here. And Buster, the dog at the airport, began to sniff my bags, but I managed to get it through customs and all the way home, where an illegal nurse came to give me my infusions. I found myself for hours and hours and hours just sitting quietly with needles in my arm in the soft, gentle Venus. The flies in the room became terribly interesting to me. I found myself no longer interested in pursuing my connections on Match.com. I found myself no longer very interested in going out to movies. I found myself sitting with my legs crossed on a big overstuffed chair and noticing the way the light was flowing through the space and catching the dust particles, catching the light and turning into this strange and fascinating, as if I were completely stoned dance of light and matter. I found myself becoming very, very quiet and making my way out into the garden. Friends would call, I wouldn't answer the phone. Email would come, I didn't answer the email. It was before tweeting and retweeting and handles and hedgehogs. And I sat in the garden on the ground, not caring if particles of dirt and bits of broken leaf began to cling to my clothing, Cobwebs gather in my hair, little spiders fall through the air on magical, sparkling bits of web they had created from their own tiny beingness of being. I didn't put on lipstick, eyeliner, curl my eyelashes. I sat in the garden and noticed, almost like that movie today, the slow opening of flowers in the sound of and it's like a symphony in the backyard of bee and unnamed insect and cricket, all occupying different levels of the octave reality of airspace. When I would go out, my friends would come up to me, look me closely in the eye and say, "Are you okay?" And then they would back off and say, "You look okay." And this weird kind of glee had started to emerge in my system from the not doing. There was a kind of not doing formula that I had discovered. The less you do, the happier you are. What a discovery. The less you do, the happier you are. The less you do. There was a kind of like shedding of possibility, of shedding of having to become anyone that you were meant to be, a kind of shedding of already you're the meant, you're going to die in a second, and just give it up, give it up, give it up. Just relax. When I got better, my friend said, "Oh, now you can go back to your life." My life. My maximum life. My having to, and then do, and then finally, and then cutting, and then the doing, and the doing, and the we, and the me, and the everyone, and I'm going to, and change it. Had been killing me. There is a great discovery in stopping. And out of the stopping, out of the complete stopping, where everything in the heart and the mind let go, and instead of throwing off the covers, I just lie between the sheets. And the sun comes up in the morning, and the dogs gather on the edge of the bed to watch the squirrel in that miraculous way cling completely perpendicular to reality and make its way up the old oak tree outside my bedroom windows that spreads itself over the entire neighborhood, losing its leaves, growing them back, losing them again, holding the neighborhood in its huge expanse of old oak tree, reaching to the 250-year-old oak tree, aging gracefully, being already what it's meant to be. I'm going to lie in bed and watch the light. Watch the light on the sheet and on the dog's ear. Watch the light crawl against the bed. Kiss my lover long and slow. Kiss the dog long and slow. Kiss the sheets long and slow. Kiss my own shoulder. And in that moment, what did he say? Today, as if It's the first day of your life and the last. And out of that stillness, I will slowly swing my legs over the edge of the bed into the brown, fluffy slippers and make my way into the world, knowing without a doubt there is only me with we, that you and the oak tree and the children who are now being born without the mothers dying in Nepal and the sensors making your interest, tracking it, going up and down and up and down. Notice when you sleep, wah! I'll make my way down the hallway to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and taste mint on my breath.